And I see no signs of them changing from that strategy.
Interesting. But what about this?
Will you make the ultimate sacrifice? Now is the time to join the Helldivers.
I don't see any signs of change at PlayStation.
We need more Helldivers. We need more recruits.
So, I don't know why I did that. That was really dumb. Anyway, okay. Anyway, listen, another day, another crash out, and we have the great, infamous, the gift that continues giving. We have Jimmy Neutron, aka Reforge Gaming, and his take on Helldivers 2 going to the Xbox. Now prepare for some goalposts to be moved. Prepare for some nonsense speak and some desperately trying to misdirect the narrative and play it in his own hands. So anyway, without further ado, let's listen to Reforge Gaming and see exactly what his very unbiased, professional, journalistic views on this topic, and see if we can make sense of what is happening in the PlayStation camp. So Jimmy, take it away, bro.
He says, Arrowhead doesn't own the Helldivers IP. They have no say in where the game goes. The only way this game would appear on Xbox is if Sony agreed.
So right away, Reforge is hit with a cold, hard fact. The game would not be going to Xbox unless Sony agreed it. They had to greenlight it. They had to say yes. And, I mean, look. Look at Reforge there, man. This is he's livid. He's fuming. He's angry. He's like, how dare he? How dare he call me out like that? He's like, how dare one of my own members of my audience just hit me with facts right away? He's like, shit. It's like, what do I do? You can see his mind scrambling. He's like, oh. So anyway, let's see where he goes with this. Get off now, Reforge, for God's sake. Right? Let's see where Reforge goes with this, and you're gonna see let's just get into this, shall we?
Who initiated? It doesn't matter. It's a matter of fact, Sony agreed. Right, but Corey, why they agreed is more important than the fact that they agreed.
You know what I absolutely love about Reforge? His ego is so big that every time he says something, you know he thinks he's right. And I'm gonna rewind it. I'm gonna show you this bit again. Watch it. Reforge says something on the lines of, it's not important that they agreed, it's important why they agreed. And in his mind, he's just absolutely dropped a bombshell, right? He's just cut apart that comment. In his mind, he has now nailed it, right? The pride, the smugness, the arrogance, the confidence on his face as he says this, which is saying a bunch of nothing, but just look at his face as he says this. It's absolutely priceless, bro.
Why they agreed is more important than the fact that they agreed.
The thing with Reforge, it's like the man is so dim, but thinks he's so smart. And every time he manages to put a sentence together correctly and get it out there, in his mind he believes it to be the most elaborate, complicated, complex, like he's putting together a puzzle so elaborate no other human mind in existence would have the mental capacity to decipher it. So when he's like, it's not that they allowed it, but it's why they allowed it, and then he's like, God, I'm good. I mean, look at his face there. It's a man, he's so happy that he got that sentence out. So I just thought that was a funny detail in his body language. So let's see where he goes with that amazing argument, because there is some truth to that. It is important why Sony would allow Helldivers 2 to go to Xbox. I know why. I'm pretty sure you all know why. Reforge, do you know why? Let's see.
Think about that, Corey. Yeah, we can say they agreed, but why they agreed is far more important than just being like, but they agreed. Okay, cool. Now let's do some analytical thinking instead of just saying something that's platitudinous.
Platyscudimus? Like, let's sort of say something that's platipopulous. What did you say?
Cool. Now let's do some analytical thinking instead of just saying something that's platitudinous.
Platitutis. Platidicus. Bicus. Platyscudius. Okay, alright. Platitude. Okay, so listen, I'm not going to pretend I know what that word means, okay? I don't speak the ancient tongue of Reforge gaming, right? Platitudius? I think it's a platitudius. So, let me just go do some research and I'll be right back, okay? Bear with me.
6.5 hours later.
Platitudinous. Platitudinous.
Oh, man's done research now.
Platitudinous.
Yeah, I know what it means.
Platitudinous.
So, for everyone watching who didn't know what
Platitudinous.
means, I now did some research. So, it's quite funny what
Platitudinous.
actually means. So it means the definition of
Platitudinous.
this is hilarious. It's basically just means Reforge. That's exactly. Listen to this. Listen what it means. It means dull and tiresome, but with the pretensions of significance or originality. So the word basically is everything that Reforge is. It's a perfect word to describe Reforge. And what's funny about this is that he used it a bit out of context. You see, I might not know what the word is, but you didn't use it right. You was basically saying that they were being
Platitudinous.
by saying that it was PlayStation that allowed it to go there, right? So you're basically saying that they're saying something dull and tiresome with pretensions of significance. I don't think they were saying that with pretensions and with any. They wasn't trying to be significant. They was just saying the truth. That Arrowhead wasn't behind it. Sony had to green light it. That's just that's facts. That's just highlighting the reality. They're not trying to sound smart. They're not trying to sound pretentious or significant. They're just saying it how it is. So actually, Reforge, you saying
Platitudinous.
the way you did actually makes you.
Platitudinous.
Because you were saying that word to sound interesting, thoughtful, pretentious, and significant when really it wasn't required in that sentence. Bruv.
Let's apply some critical thinking here. Why would they agree to this?
Oh, you're serious? Oh, okay. I mean, it's fairly obvious to me and everyone else, but you don't know. I mean, it's not your fault. You don't know. So, okay. The answer is simple. Now, I know you want to bury your head in the sand and you don't want to acknowledge this or believe it, but the truth is it's down to money. PlayStation and Sony, it's in the business of earning money. They don't make games for you. It's not a favour, Reforge. They don't do it because they love you or they like you. It's not a gift. They do it because they want you to pay for it. It's money. And unfortunately, the very loud minority of the PlayStation fanboys also just happen to be the very quiet majority who don't buy the first-party games that PlayStation make in the first place, which have driven this action to take place. Trust me, this is PlayStation and Sony dipping their toes in that green Xbox water. And you can say Xbox is dead, dying, irrelevant, whatever, but there's 30 million plus people on that platform. That's 30 million plus potential sales for Helldivers 2. And when it sells, and when it sells well, trust me, those conversations you really do not want to be happening, they are going to be happening. And we're going to see more games heading that way. Because why wouldn't they? Because you'll cry about it. Because JTech will cry about it. Dreamcast guy might need new teeth. Why wouldn't they make a business move which grants them more income just because the crying minority will just make YouTube videos about it? It's not going to happen. This is the start of things to come. Exclusivity, it is dying. It's practically already dead. And because you guys cling to exclusives so much, it hurts you. But that's just the way it is. This is about money. And if you people bought the games more, you talk about Xbox guys, but we've already ran the numbers. We've already seen it. PlayStation fans don't turn up to buy first-party games. And if you're not turning up to buy them, then maybe Xbox gamers will. You put them in this position. Blame your own community, bro.
Think about everything PlayStation has said this gen. Think about it. Analyze their statements about live service. Analyze their statements about their games, their big tentpole titles going to PC. Analyze their statements about PS Plus. Analyze interviews they just did with Steven Totillo about why they don't put their big games on PS Plus day and date. Analyze all their comments from Jim Ryan talking about Virtuous Cycle and all this stuff. Analyze all those statements. Why would they suddenly shift and change for a platform that's not doing very well?
You know, Reforge, you tell us to analyze the things Sony say. Analyze their statements, analyze this. Let's just look at what Sony is saying and trust and believe in Sony. So I'm going to urge you to do the very same. You say Xbox isn't doing that well, so why would they sell Helldivers 2 over there? Well, I would argue Sony certainly think it's doing well. PlayStation certainly think Xbox is doing well enough to ship the game over there. So by your own logic, you should take that at face value then. Because you might not think it's doing well, but they do. And actions speak louder than words, so I think you have your answer, my guy.
Why? That's more interesting than being like, well, they did it. So, okay, here's another way of looking at this. A lot of people are looking at this situation, and there's two extreme reactions. One extreme reaction is, I'm getting rid of my PlayStation. Screw PlayStation for doing this. It's a betrayal. And then there's like the really pro Xbox guys that are like, yep, PlayStation's going third party, full slate. Okay, both of these reactions, I believe, are irrational and not rooted in reality or fact.
The people who say they're leaving, they're just lying. They're just acting emotionally and they're reacting accordingly. The people who say the whole slate is coming, they're saying that because they know that if Hellblade 2 sells really well on the Xbox, then bruv, the whole slate is coming. It's practically already on PC, bruv. The next Xbox is going to have Steam, probably. They're not going to be blocking those sales, my guy. If Helldivers 2 sells like hotcakes, why would they block the sales on Steam? Analyze that and make it make sense. But even if it didn't have Steam, if they earn X amount of millions, and imagine, you know, if it sells really well, which I know you can't imagine because apparently we don't buy games, but if it hits big numbers, why wouldn't they ship like God of War? No one's buying it anymore. You barely turned up to buy Astro Bot in the first place. Like, a lot of the games you don't turn up to buy, so why wouldn't they? Like, when only like 5, 6, 8% of all PlayStation users turn up to buy their first-party games, why not ship them? They're going to ship them, bro. It's going to happen. They're like Days Gone. on Xbox, why not? What have we got to lose? What do they have to lose? That's what you should analyze. They have nothing to lose, especially when it's been out for years and years and years. Now, will there always be a big gap? Of course. I do believe that games will always launch first on the PlayStation, but I'm pretty confident that the trend of them just staying on PlayStation is gone because you don't turn up to buy them. So after the sales have dried up and no more people are buying it, like, who's buying God of War 2018 right now? No one. If they launched that on the Xbox, bruv, massive sales. So again, it's stupid to assume that's not going to happen.
I think this right here is because we live in an escalation machine.
I don't live in an escalation machine. You live in an escalation machine.
Why would PlayStation suddenly be okay with this? Why? Why do people care? PlayStation games go to Xbox anyway? Literally, who cares? Think about it like this, Bellows. Imagine that one of the core... Oh, my chair just reclined. Imagine one of the core reasons that you go to PlayStation is because you feel like their commitment to exclusives and quality has delivered things worthy of your purchase. And you don't want that to end. Okay? If you look at the quality of the first-party games from PlayStation and you compare them to the quality of the first-party games from Xbox, it's very clear that PlayStation's been doing a better job. I've seen very like non-console warrior people say this. They'll just straight up say, Xbox first-party has been bad this gen, PlayStation first-party has been better, okay? If you don't agree with that, that's fine. I'm talking about consumers who think that. So you could be like, nope, PlayStation first party has sucked and Xbox first party has been better. Okay, fine. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about consumers who believe they've been getting better first party games, and they believe that one of the reasons they're getting those better games is because they prioritize the console and development for it first. And they're worried that this is the beginning of that coming to an end. That's why they're worried, Bellows.
Man, Reforge, you're good at speaking without actually saying anything. So you ranted on and on and on. And all you basically said was this. When asked the question, why should you care? If games go to Xbox, who cares? Your answer basically was this. Well, PlayStation fans who have committed to the console are scared that their exclusive games, which they've bought into and love, are going to go away. Okay, let's deal with a few things. One, it doesn't matter which is best. That's not the argument. Whether you prefer the exclusives. Not everyone likes the first-party PlayStation games. Personally, I'm a big fan of a lot of them, but they're not everyone's cup of tea. But that's not the point. The point you're making is that if these games go third-party and start being released on the Xbox, it's going to severely hurt the quality of those games. I don't understand how. What do you mean? Like, how does the games being put on another platform with a new audience to buy it, how does that equal less quality? How does that mean you're getting less of what you've been buying? So let me get this straight. If Intergalactic is going to come out on the Xbox, suddenly Intergalactic isn't going to be as good? If Last of Us 3 is made, is it not going to be as good? If a new Uncharted game comes out, it's not going to be as good. If a new God of War game comes out, it's not going to be as good. If Ghost of Yotai was coming out on the Xbox, suddenly Ghost of Yotai isn't as good. That doesn't really make sense. Now, if the hardware of the systems was vastly different, and the PlayStation's tech was so far and above that of the Xbox, then I could see an argument to be made that, well, look, no, because first-party games made exclusively just for the PlayStation would have so many more benefits, but that's not the case. So, that argument makes no sense. None at all, actually.
I'm telling them that I don't see signs of that going away because I am that guy. I am the guy who thinks PlayStation's done a better job this gen. I am the consumer who thinks their commitment to exclusives, their commitment to first-party studio games not going to PS Plus and being built for PlayStation first, I believe I get better games because of that, and I see no signs of them changing from that strategy.
Interesting. But what about this?
Will you make the ultimate sacrifice? Now is the time to join the Helldivers.
I don't see any signs of change at PlayStation.
We need more Helldivers. We need more recruits.
There are people that think that I'm wrong, and they think this is just the beginning, and PlayStation's going to start doing day and date and shipping the whole slate, and yep, they're going to... And I'm like, no, they're not. They would have signaled that already. They'd be restructuring studios. They'd be hiring. They'd be setting up for parallel developments. They'd be telling the shareholders. They'd be creating new budgetary line items for this movement, and they're not doing that. PlayStation's going full slate. PlayStation's turning into third party. PlayStation's going to move all their titles to Xbox. That level of analysis would be needed. They're not willing to do it. Why? Because there's no evidence to support it.
Freedom. What is it worth? For some, the answer is simple. Everything.
So the grand irony is when their brand signaled it a year and a half to 2 years ago, and they were in denial, buried their heads in the sand, a lot of them actively astroturfed for Microsoft and ran the talking points and ran the PR to keep this quiet and to keep people satiated, to keep you on Game Pass. Don't act like that wasn't a factor. A lot of these guys were running PR for Microsoft and Xbox. They are complicit.
Reforge, everything you just said that Xbox fanboys do, being complicit, playing PR for the brand, burying their head in the sand, being in denial, trying to move the goalposts and all that shit is exactly what you're doing right now in that video. You're just not self-aware enough to realize that. I mean, it's hilarious watching you, my guy. You're like, oh, how dare they? They're all running PR. They're all doing damage control. They were all out there convincing people to stay loyal to the brand and stay on Game Pass. Bruv, it's fucking hilarious watching you just embarrass yourself this way. You talk about analysis all the time, but you don't even have enough self-analysis to know that you are a living, breathing, talking contradiction and hypocrisy. Jesus Christ, bruv, how you have 50,000 subscribers, I'll never know.
They were part of the reason lots of people stayed on Game Pass and lots of people stayed loyal. And now, when we arrive in 2025, and all that evidence was there that they ignored that Xbox was going to do it, they want to wax eloquent about, like, this is where the industry's going. PlayStation's going to do the same thing. And it's like, where's the analysis? Have they said a single thing in an earnings call? Have they said a single thing with their budgets? Are they hiring for it? Are they restructuring their studios? No, they're not. So when the level of analysis you get's no deeper than the thimble, don't expect good predictions. Don't expect good market analysis. You're not getting analysis. You're getting PR puffery talking points. That's the grand irony here. It's like, if you guys would have had any level of analysis, integrity, or honesty, you'd have told your audiences, you'd have told the people that trust you, this is coming. They're going to ship games to PlayStation and Nintendo. They're changing their strategy. And they didn't do it. They bad faith, they obfuscated, they completely shifted everything around to make it seem like this wasn't happening. And now when PlayStation moves Helldivers 2 to Xbox, and there's no sign, there's absolutely no sign in the earnings calls, the earnings reports. They're not saying any of this to any of the interviews that they're doing. There's not a single breadcrumb to be like, oh yeah, they're definitely changing strategies. They'll insist that they are.
Okay, well, I'm just going to leave the video here, right, because this video has gone on long enough. What I will say is I can't wait for the great crash out to happen if and when games start moving over to the PlayStation. But Reforge, just to rebuttal what you just said about, well, Xbox people should have been telling the people that trust them that this is happening. Same could be said for you, bruv. If this starts happening, and this does indeed happen, and PlayStation start porting over their games, then how is that any different? We could say the same to you, because you're not doing that. You're playing damage control. You're just doing PR talking points. You're just desperately trying to convince people it's not happening, like you have inside information. You don't. You know as much as I do. But if you think, in that little stupid head of yours, that a Helldivers 2 sells plenty on the Xbox, that's not going to start a trend for the future, then you are deluding yourself, and you're lying to yourself, and you're lying to your audience, which At this point, I'm sure they just follow you to troll you, if I'm honest. So, look guys, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. It's always fun to cover Reforge. What I cannot wait for is the great crash out. Can you imagine if games from PlayStation start going to Xbox? They announced that the Uncharted collection is on Xbox, Horizon 1 and 2 is going to be on Xbox, Ghost of Tsushima. If they start moving things like God of War and stuff like that, bruv, can you imagine how glorious Twitter will be? How great it will be to witness the PlayStation fanboys absolutely implode. It will be glorious and I will be right here for it. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you thought in the comments below. And yeah, that's the video. Always love a bit of Reforge. He's always a funny little guy, isn't he?